This is Paul Newman, and if you are seeing this screen, I am hoping to assure you here that the live stream will start very soon. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We've been caught. We're gonna do another quick video today. It's Saturday evening. There's not been any racing really for a fortnight, which has given us a good opportunity to evaluate where we're at. One thing I will say before I get cracking about the last novice hurdler we've got at the moment on the 17th of December is anybody looking for any old National Hunt horses identified in the past, then just go to Rep CIC Racing 2020.ml, which is the site you can see there now on screen, the Reprieve Media CIC Racing website. It's on a domain, it's on an account that's full, 98% full. So we had to stop in November 2020. But if people go to the Horses in Focus section, they'll find plenty of nice horses there. Right, the horse we're going to talk about today is Henry de Bromhead trained Absolute Notions. You'll see we have to talk about this horse today because it runs tomorrow. Maybe, if the weather allows. This to me is the sort of hurdler that I think could probably make a better chaser in time, but I've seen enough in the pedigree that makes me think it could be worth a little chance. If you look at the bare form of it, Henry de Bromhead actually started it off in a £50,000 maiden bumper, and it won then. Behind it that day was Caldwell Potter, who is another one of ours. That was who since won a maiden bumper, and then it won a maiden hurdle in November over 2 miles, 3.5 furlongs. So this is the first one really that we're stepping up in trip of it, with the others that we've looked at, the Triumph hurdlers and the Supreme Novice hurdlers. They're more hurdlers, if that makes any sense. The 2 milers, Supreme Novice hurdlers. This one here, I'm hoping it will stay a good trip because it's one really that's got a stout National Hunt pedigree more than a flashy flat pedigree like some of the others. If people look, it's Dam Sire is Beneficial, Milan, one of the leading National Hunt sires. This isn't a flat pedigree that we're dealing with here. And that's why it started off in a National Hunt flat race, I suppose. But some you look at bumper horses these days, some of them can be quite flat bred. We're going to look at the dam of it, Colleen Donegal. I've butchered that. That's Irish. Colleen Donegal. Apologies again. You'll see that it's Absolute Notions, according to the Racing Post, is the only horse she has foaled so far. But the second dam, Colleen Don, they're telling us is unraced again. Actually foaled a couple of good horses. Chief Dan George, the Group 1 winning hurdler. It won the 2007 Sefton Novice Hurdler, beating a future Irish Grand National winner, Wichita Lineman, by 4 lengths before finding the top staying division that following season. You'll see how good it is. English Dreaver, Casbar Bliss and Blazing Bailey. Anyone will remember that was a vintage time for staying hurdles, really. But it's a Grade 1 winning hurdle. It also won 2 Grade 2s there as well. Not a bad horse. Never reached the same heights over fences. It was a barely rated. It did actually. That's actually nonsense. It actually did win a Cheltenham Grade 3 at the Cheltenham Festival. It won must have been what's now called the Plate. In them days, in 2010, it was called the William Hill Trophy, where it beat the Package, which was trained by Martin Pipe for David Johnson, at a very rewarding price for people that have kept the faith in this Grade 1 winning hurdler. Very interesting horse. 17th in Bala Briggs's Grand National. And it was also related to a dual Grade 2 winning horse. This is the one that fell short over fences. Was it Mac George? You'll see it's shown very little form really, apart from when they got it spot on for a period in 1999, between January and April, where it actually ran quite well. When it actually did win, again at Aintree, the 1999 Martel Cup Chase, a Grade 2, where it beats Escartafie. So as a consequence of that, it was a higher rating than Chief Dan George in the end. But you'll have to say that if people scroll down this, they'll see a lot of exposure in the handicaps. And handicap chases even after he had his Grade 2 win. They're the two horses, Chief Dan George and McGeorge. That give me hope, really, that Absolute Notions could be a decent long-term prospect, and maybe even give us a run in a Cheltenham's novice hurdle that isn't the Supreme. Who knows? Or even Aintree. Seems to have form at Aintree, the family, doesn't it? We've just seen a couple of Aintree wins there. The third dam, Revo Abbey, where it dries up a bit then, the older racing post. So we had to go to our old faithful site, really. But for some reason I've closed down. One of them days today, the cold is getting to us all. Revo Abbey. There isn't much really after Revo Abbey. But we did have a look, and we couldn't really find much at all. We did find out that the horse is on a 2S, family 2S at least. So that gave us a chance to try and trace it a little bit further. Then we noticed that Revo Abbey is actually born in the same year as me. So the third dam of this horse is actually quite old, 48 years old. So it's a proper stout National Hunt pedigree. We did find it though on the long distance pedigree. We had to go back to 1909 to do it, and we found a horse called Cooey, who, if people look, Bill and Coo and Cooey are there. Bill and Coo is the fifth dam of Revo Abbey, so the eighth dam of this horse. They got busted there, a King George winner, but it's not really that closely related to that. I did have a look. But the fifth dam of Advocate, this dual Australian Derby winner, is Bill and Coo. And also the third dam of this mare, the Group 1 winning Australian mare in 1932, Roman Spear, is also Bill and Coo as well. So that's a long way back until we found any flat pedigree, really. The ironic thing is here, we've had loads of videos here flagged by Racing TV that we've not even used that are theirs. We have to, for some reason, the race isn't there where I normally find it this time. So we're going to have to watch this race on the Racing TV website. So let's see if this one gets flagged, shall we? I'll have to hold my hands up if it does. Here we go. This is Absolute Notions in the maiden hurdle
of 22 runners over 2 miles 3 furlongs in the third race, the O'Connor Heating and Plumbing supporting Longford GA 4-year-old maiden hurdle. And it's Blood Done Fair leading a couple of lengths, Absolute Notions and Joshua the Flow, tracked by Deep Cave and Benno. Jumping up on the inside, mistake there by Manhattan Lady. Jumping up on the inside was On the Tide as they go towards the second flight. Blood Done Fair, the leader, up and over, a couple of lengths clear. Manhattan Lady has paid the ultimate price for a mistake at the first. Has parted company with Sean O'Keefe. As Blood Done Fair, Absolute Notions turn a length in front of Joshua the Flow and then Deep Cave, and On the Tide next as they come along the side of the track. Next is Benno as they race on to the third flight. In front is Blood Done Fair, and the
looks to be a lot of very average horses in this race. I mean,
Absolute Notions,
really jumping the third hurdle, and look how strung out they are.
Into the far inside. And Joshua the Flow, Deep Cave, Benno, Raven. The back marker of the leading group is On the Tide, with a sizable gap then to Every Step of the Way, and Jane Wild and Cherry Red next, with Max Lady and Low Mileage and Lovely Reaction. On to the first of the two, and it's Blood Done Fair, opening up a lead of 3 lengths over Absolute Notions. Joshua the Flow, Cherry Red wrapped that flight in mid-division. They go now to the next. Blood Done Fair leads Absolute Notions, Joshua the Flow, Deep Cave, and next on the inside is On the Tide, Benno. In the leading group with Raven, 4 lengths to every step of the way, who's 6 in front of Jane Wild. And Cherry Red and Lovely Reaction and Max Lady next with Low Mileage. And in the navy-coloured cap is Sunwalk. It's followed by Headwind. They're very well spaced out. Next is Ace Aussie, who's in company with Spanish John. As they go uphill, after Spanish John is Size 5 and Okko 1 and Man of the House. And there's no one behind Captain Clever in the red cap. Heading back to their point of departure. No significant changes in the order of running up ahead. It's Blood Done Fair leading Absolute Notions, Joshua the Flow, Deep Cave, and Benno. On the inside is On the Tide, who's followed by Raven in every step of the way. Jane Wild and Cherry Red and Lovely Reaction. And on the inside is Low Mileage with Max Lady and Headwind. And Sunwalk next, and they're followed by Ace Aussie as they return to their point of departure. Heading down the far side the final time, and it's Blood Done Fair and Sam Ewing by 2 lengths to Absolute Notions. Jack Kennedy on board, the stylish winner of the Goffs Land Rover here at the festival, and third is Joshua the Flow and JJ Slevin, then Deep Cave and Davy Russell. On the Tide, Danny Mullins, and then Benno, who was novice at that for Mark Walsh, and they're well cleared of every step of the way. Last on the far side, Blood Done Fair, still to be headed, leads Absolute Notions, the half-colours, who made a slight mistake, and then Joshua the Flow, the two-tone green jacket on the inside, who's a place in front of the white-faced Deep Cave. On the Tide and Benno, and this leading group of 6 move on from every step of the way, and then Jane Wild, Raven has dropped away. 5 furlongs to go, they're heading for the next flight. And it's Blood Done Fair, still putting in a good shift up front. Leads Absolute Notions, Joshua the Flow. Making a move is Deep Cave on the outside. Then Benno, who again was far from fluent. And then On the Tide as they head for the second last. And Absolute Notions moves alongside Blood Done Fair. With them is Deep Cave, then Joshua the Flow, going on from Benno and On the Tide every step of the way, and Jane Wild as Deep Cave lays it down to Absolute Notions. After them is Joshua the Flow, finding no more. Giving way is the long-time leader, Blood Done Fair. 2 furlongs to race and 1 flight to jump, and the O'Connor Heating and Plumbing supporting Longford GA 4-year-old maiden hurdle, and it's Deep Cave coming again against the rail is Absolute Notions, and then Joshua the Flow heading for the final flight, and Absolute Notions has wrestled back the lead from Deep Cave, who's jumped off to the left, and then Joshua the Flow, and it's Absolute Notions kicking away from Deep Cave and Joshua the Flow, and it's Absolute Notions making it 2 out of 2 here at Punchestown. Wins on hurdling debut from Deep Cave and Joshua the Flow, well cleared of Benno, Blood Done Fair.
I mean, that to me looked a good performance. That he was headed. The further they went, the better he got, and he coming to the last, like the commentator said, he was back in control of the race, wasn't he? And he saw it out well, I thought. Let's look at tomorrow's race quickly then before we end this video. See what we make of it. I mean, my first impressions is of looking at the trip is perfect. 7 runners, which is less than ideal. JP McManus seems to fancy his. You'll see that there's a few here that with similar profiles carrying similar weight. 125, 128. 3-card Bragg could have an advantage. Yeah, I think that was the one. That was one of the ones that was due to run in Dawn Rising's race, which is another novice hurdler we might have to take a look at later on in the season. It's an interesting race, definitely. A lot of unbeaten horses over hurdles, which is what you want at this stage of the season. We could check out the dams of the others quickly and see what we could be up against. I've looked at 3-card Bragg. It's related to Bellon Gale. 3-card Bragg, you'd think would gone a lot further than this. Bellon Gale was a 4-miler for Howard Johnson. There's other 3-milers in there as well, Idle Talk and Smart Talk. I know that because I've looked at the horse when it raced dawn rising. 30p McManus's horse, well, not much in there is that makes him think he's got a pattern horse. But if the man who runs Irish Racing fancies one of his over the line and the money is down for it, you have to give it total consideration, don't you? I like Absolute Notions though. I think it's a good horse, and hopefully it will run well tomorrow ahead of what could be a future of good 4 or 5 years if the horse can stay healthy. You know, it's got to go novice chasing and chasing yet, and be up top in trip probably a bit further than this even. All right, everybody, I'm going to leave you there. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you very much for supporting the videos in your own way, your own unique way, mainly by ignoring them. I'm going to put a list up to the playlist of all the National Hunt horses, just in case this is the first one you've stumbled across and you want to catch the others. But for now, take care, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Goodbye.